Cybersecurity is so important, so very, very important. I've known people who have almost been spoofed, fished, whatever you want to call it, into having their company, having an employee of their company almost wire money. As we roll into 2026, what are the top things business owners should do if they are thinking of exiting in the next 1, 3, even 5 years? This is the Getting the Deal Done podcast. I'm John Martinka. And to answer that question, very simply, it is do the same things you would have done 1 year ago, 5 years ago, any number of years ago, because the fundamentals don't change just because the calendar does. So let's go through the top 10 list. The top, say 4 of these are definitely a little more important to get going on than the other ones. And let's start with the business owner, or if you're an advisor, your client who's an owner, getting their personal situation in order before they even think of going to market, hiring someone like our firm or any other intermediary, etc. Get your personal life in order as it ties to the business. In other words, have you met a financial advisor? Do you know if what you're going to sell your business for and the net after costs and taxes is enough for your next great adventure in life? Because if it's not, you're going to have deal remorse and it's going to disappoint everybody. Know the answer to the question, why are you selling? And let me tell you, when you go online to all the advertising sites for businesses and you see pursue other interests, every buyer goes, okay, what's wrong with the business? Know what you're going to do and be able to explain it. We have a potential client. And when I said, what are you going to do if you sell the business? He goes, farming. He wants to get back into, we'll call it a hobby farm. And then if the answer to that question is retire, does your spouse want you around 24/7? Get those things in order. Then we look at the business, and here we go. Have solid financial systems and accurate financial statements. Make sure your statements are consistent from year to year. Don't play games. Don't write off personal expenses through the business. It is very short-sighted. Look, the top federal tax rate is 37%. If you write off, we'll use round numbers. You write off $100,000 of personal expenses, you save maybe $37,000 in federal income tax. What if the bank and the buyer don't buy into your add backs of personal expenses? That 100,000 is worth 4, 5, 600,000 in price. Even if they buy into half of them, that's 2 to 300,000. It takes a lot of years of saving taxes. So get them off the books, those personal expenses. Make sure your statements are accurate. We feel very fortunate at least the last handful of clients we have had, when a buyer's done a quality of earnings report, has shown nothing unusual. That's great. Next, reduce or eliminate any owner dependency. Start working on it now if you do way too much in the business. It's a sign of strength for the business to have a leadership and management team. It is not a sign of weakness when someone can do things you can't do or don't do or won't do. That's great. And look, I was talking to a ESOP consultant the other day, and I have some knowledge of ESOPs from clients. And he said one of the things that we need to do in ESOP is a strong management team to carry on. Next, grow. Don't just say you can. Well, here's an example of a company I recently saw in the market. Sales were flat for the last 5 years. And let's just say those sales were at 10 million. Inflation over that time was 25%, the CPI. That means that 10 million was the same as $8 million in sales 5 years ago. Or put it another way, that 10 million in sales to just keep up with the CPI should have been 12,500,000. A very smart person who was a president at one of the divisions at Expedia shared with me many years ago, growth hides a lot of operational warts. And of course, then you go back and fix the warts. Buyers want to see growth and they want to see how you achieved it. Was it new products, new markets, better sales, team, etc.? So here's the next six of my top 10. IT. Cybersecurity is so important, so very, very important. I've known people who have almost been spoofed and fished, whatever you want to call it, into having their company, having an employee of their company almost wire money on a to a bogus account when someone imitated one of their vendors. I was sitting with my good friend Greg Russell, attorney at PRK in Bellevue, Washington, and we started talking about IT and everything, and we said, all the hassles are over CRM, ERP, and accounting software. Are they doing what you want them to do? Are they doing what they can do? Are you getting the most out of them? Do they talk? Just make sure all your softwares and your IT is in good operating order. Operations. Have systems, whether you're a service business or making widgets, have systems and document them. Have processes that people can follow. So when you hire someone, the onboarding time is greatly reduced. So if someone leaves, they retire, they move away, whatever they do, someone can easily step in because it's all documented. We talked about owner dependency. Reduce all dependencies. And usually these come up as customer concentration issues. Nobody wants to buy a company where 60% or more is one customer, or 80% is your top two. Diversify your customer base. Diversify your supplier base. Looked at a company a number of years ago, and very profitable company all years except one. 1 year, their key supplier and only supplier of their main product said, you will buy X amount at Y dollars or you get nothing. They went from 7-figure profit to a high 6-figure loss over that year till they got it figured out. Another one can be key employees. If you have someone as the only person who can program a machine or has the key customer relationships, it's not good for the valuation. Tied into those key employees are invest in great people. Don't hire just because the person says, I'll work cheaper. Get great people, pay them fairly. Let them do their job. Strengthen your relationships with your customers, especially with your recurring customers. Those who do business with you every day, every month, every year, whatever it is, over and over and over again. And I know there's a lot of talk out there about recurring revenue like SaaS businesses, like software, Netflix, Microsoft Office, whatever it is. Yes, they go on the credit card all the time. That's great, but we all don't have that. So if you have recurring customers, strengthen those relationships and strengthen them with a team, not just with you or one key employee. And then finally, sort of a one-time thing with monitoring, go through your expenses. What can you eliminate? What can you reduce? I've seen a lot of commercials lately for Rocket Money, and then just to the commercial is, how many subscriptions do you have? And the person says, oh, I think 3. And you say, here, download Rocket Money. You have 15. You have 3 of the same for you're paying a monthly fee for 3 times to the same firm. Monitor your expenses and start out by going through them and reducing them. It's not a thing that's going to save you all the time, but if you can cut 10% off your overhead, 5%, that's meaningful. So, to close, 10 things an owner should do or your client should do if you're an advisor. Pay attention to these. Don't try to do all 10 at once. Start with 2, maybe 3 if they're easy for you. Get them in order, then move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. Don't let it disrupt your business, but you're building for a way to, as the copy of our latest book says, exit with style, grace, and more money. Thank you for listening to the Getting the Deal Done podcast. I'm John Martinka, and here's to a successful 2026 and exit.